Hello, I'm Jeffrey Card, and today I'm demoing a 2D version of my 4D maze game. This version is available to play as long as you have a C++ compiler. It even works on my Android phone. The code is available on my GitHub page, link in the description. This demo comes in 5 parts. Part 1, Controls. Part 2, Maze Algorithms. Part 3, Site Algorithms. Part 4, 4 Dimensions. And Part 5, Dimension Swapping. Part 1, Controls. The game opens to a simple title screen. You have to hit enter because that's the only way that the terminal receives input. You can input characters if you want, but right now they're being ignored. Hit enter again to cycle through the logo. Now the game wants to know how many dimensions we want in our maze. I'll use a 2D maze because they're the easiest to recognize visually. Now we enter the size in each direction, and I'll choose my favorite options. And there. You can see the legend above that shows me what I am, what my goal is, etc. And it lists the controls, though not in order. That's for you to figure out. So I type a character, and hit enter, and I moved. But I can also type multiple characters, and when I hit enter, each is carried out in order. For each entry, I can make one small step, or one giant leap. Sorry, I had to make that reference. Notice that for a long sequence, the screen flashes. That's because it's drawing each frame. I might fix that later. For now, I'll just show you how you can finish a whole maze in one go. Or a few goes. I'm recording the audio separately, so I don't know what I'm doing here. Part 2, Maze Algorithms. Now let's look at the maze building algorithms, ignoring the site algorithm section for now. I've sorted them from best to worst, so that even if you don't understand them, the smaller the number, the better. Hunt and kill is my favorite. It has many branches of medium length, but dead ends are usually short enough that backtracking isn't a chore. Depth first creates mazes with long trails and few forks. Breadth first, or Prim's algorithm, builds mazes that tend to be heavily forked with short branches. Random is entirely random, with some areas that become blocked off and others that are overconnected. And no maze is entirely empty. There's also a fifth unlisted type that is entirely walled up. Behind the scenes, there are also algorithms to choose where the maze starts and ends, but that's outside of the scope of this demo. Part 3, Site Algorithms. Now we choose how much of the maze we can see. Again, I've sorted these from approximately the best to the worst. Full Sight lets you see the whole maze. Line of Sight lets you see what's down any corridor you're in. Ranged lets you see a specific distance, even over walls if line of sight is off. And Memory records where you've been. Here's what each looks like. Full Sight, line of sight with memory, line of sight, line of sight ranged with memory, line of sight ranged, ranged with memory, ranged. Part 4, 4 Dimensions. I'll just make a quick 2x2x2x2x2 maze. As you can see, I'm in a little sub-maze, surrounded by other sub-mazes. I can move around as usual, but I can also jump from sub-maze to sub-maze, moving to the same relative position in the other maze. I can do this as long as there is a hole in the wall in between. This is one way of showing 4 dimensions in 2D, by taking slices and laying them out, as shown on the axis map in the legend. Each sub-maze is a 2D slice of the actual 4D maze. Stack them together and you've got the real thing. The disadvantage to this method is that as the maze gets larger, the 2D map takes up an area of length to the 4th power. That's why I'm only playing a small maze in 4D. The other disadvantage is that if the maze were continuous, the slices might be too far apart to get the important details. The slices might not show something that's between them, blocking a path. Thankfully, my mazes are discrete, so this isn't a problem in this case. Part 5, Dimension Swapping. Now I'll show you how dimension swapping works in this version. I'll make a 3 by 1 by 1 by 1. It's just a line in X. But if I hit one of the swap keys, it becomes a line in Y, or Z, or W. Notice that the axis map changes with the maze to state which dimensions are which. That'll be helpful keeping your directions straight. And here's what it looks like on a 2D maze. That's all for now. I'll leave you with me completing a 37 by 19 maze.